Hello everyone. I am back with the second game of the first round in the World Cup. Unexpectedly, my opponent, whose rating was much lower, as you guys can see that we had almost 300 rating points difference, but my opponent played very well unexpectedly. He was well prepared and yeah, I won the overall. I won the match, but it didn't come easily. I one moment I was already thinking that okay, the game is about to be drawn. Then something happened. Let's go over the game. Let's see what happened. So my opponent was like a. He didn't have like enough games in the database, so he was like a closed box for me. I didn't know what to expect, and I was pretty sure that he was gonna surprise me, and indeed surprised me with this d6 move, which is I think the late Steins variation, or yeah, I think it's the late Steins. And I have recently played few games in this variation, so I was worried that my opponent would be prepared. I was like, what way to go? Finally, I decided to play the same way. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have my opponent. I played this line against Jacobson, and here I believe I played Bishop to C2 move. If yeah, this was the move. But during the game, I was like, my opponent. Actually, let me double check if it was the game. So here, let's see in the database, and yeah, I will just put to make sure that I was correct. Yeah, I was thinking that I played this bishop c2 move here. Yeah, as you guys can see that. Oh, actually, I did play two games, and I did not remember about this game. Oh god damn it! I played on Title Tuesday, Knight BD2. I was sure that I played Bishop C2 movie, as you guys can see, but I didn't know that I played Knight BD2. So I decided to surprise my opponent by playing that move, and I was thinking that he might not have been prepared against this line. So I went for Knight BD2, which was a bad decision. I should have played probably my Bishop C2 move or something else. Anyway, I went for knight d2. I didn't know that I played online. That's why it's tricky. Like you know, when I play online games, I don't pay much attention, and I guess sometimes I show some ideas there too. So here he played the best move. I was hoping that he wouldn't know this idea, but he did. So here I took queen d7, queen b3, a5, a3, and knight c6. Here, I did not quite understand. To be frank, I think I have never analyzed this position deeply, so I was not familiar with the ideas of this position. I was like, why didn't he play knight c6 immediately? I didn't quite understand his logic. If he played knight c6, I was gonna play here d5 as well, and I thought that after knight to e7, I will maneuver my knight maybe to c3 or g3 and, find position. His knights are awkward. But he played a5, a3 and knight c6. And in this position, I did not think much and I played d5. And to my surprise, he played knight b8 almost instantly. I was like, oh no. My opponent is so, I realized that he was well prepared, so I didn't know what to do. I immediately realized that probably I can take b7, but the thing is that I did not want to play against engine. So my line was this: e5, d takes e5, knight d5, queen d5, queen d5, knight d5, and the engine says 0-0, and I don't know. I thought that probably my opponent knows all of this, so I didn't want to go. So here, after some thought, I played this rook b1, interesting move. The idea is that after knight a6, queen c2, if he plays knight to c5, my intention was to play b3 and bishop b2. So here my opponent spent quite a lot of time. By the way, I think queen c4 would have been more accurate. Yeah, I was thinking about I wasn't sure which one, a queen c2 or queen c2 or queen c4, but finally I played queen c2. So he went a4, b4, took, and I took with rook. Oh, I think this is the main difference, guys. So here he could have played queen a4. I did not understand. I saw queen a4 if I played knight b3. But I did not think for some reason here to play queen a4. Anyway, my opponent played knight c5 fast. I mean, it is a logical way. Rook b4, rook e8, bishop b2, and b6. Like in this position, I played quickly also rook to e3. The logic is that now if I move my knight somewhere, let's say knight d4, my opponent can take d5 and e1 is pinned. So I played rook to e3. Now pawn defense e3, and you know, I can move my knight. So my opponent plays knight to h5. I take g7, knight g7, and in this position I spend quite some time. I really wanted to play queen c3 here, and I didn't like f5 move. F5, e5, de, knight d5, queen d5. This was my initial idea. Rook to d4. Then I realized that, oh no, he has queen to a2. And I cannot really do anything. Engine says I have some compensation, but nothing special. Nevertheless, if I played queen b2, in the game I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure that if my idea worked here or not. e5, d, knight d5, queen d5. Here, the thing is that now my queen on b2 covers a2 square, but this allows him to play queen e6 for some reason. When queen was on c3, queen e6 was an option. I mean, this was my thought. Knight g4, queen c6, knight h6. Yeah, I did see something like that. Interesting line. Anyway, queen b2 was worth a try. And if you played knight h5, maybe I was gonna play knight h2 here. Oh, but still he has f5. Eventually, I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna play knight h2 immediately. He found another strong move. I mean, my opponent plays almost perfectly until here. Only he missed this queen a4 small idea, but the rest of his moves are, you know, very strong. So queen c3, queen f7, rook f3, queen e7. Here, apparently, I should have just gone rook e3 and some kind of equality. What happened here is that I took f5. I underestimated his queen e1 move, which was a strong move. Knight f1 and knight f5. At first I was thinking like, oh, I would have some rook f5 and some attack to the king, but then I realized that there is no attack whatsoever, and I found the best move, h4. Very typical to play h5, create a weakness. And my opponent goes knight to g7. Stops h5 idea. Sorry. Stops the h5 idea by controlling h4 f square. So I went for rook b f4. My intention was maybe to play rook f7. So here goes queen to e5. And actually, I blundered the move for my opponent. Engine says here I should take queen e5. But obviously, I did not really consider this option because I didn't see that I have rook f7 here. Yeah, rook f7, rook c8, then I have knight to e3. And this position is around equal. So I play queen c2 and I blunder rook takes e3. Apparently after rook a3, I'm just a pawn down and I need to suffer. Maybe still I have some kind of counter chance. Maybe my opponent noticed, but he didn't like rook f7. Yeah, Angel says that he needs to give up the c7 pawn. Yeah, I did have a compensation. Here it goes rook f8, we trade, and I played knight e3. He goes queen a1, check, knight b1, and queen to d4. g3, knight d8, knight c3. Here he makes some inaccurate moves, and I allowed me to play h5. Actually, h5 was a very important move because now I am creating a weakness on the king side. Previously, he didn't have a weakness. Now, so in this position, something interesting happened. We reached to move 40, If you are not aware that after move 40 we receive 30 minutes, but my opponent did not stop. I mean, I had like a 20 minutes or something extra, so I went to the restroom, got a drink, I mean, ate some fruits, nuts, etc. And my opponent sits on the board because he didn't have much time. And then I realized that, oh no, he thinks that there is no increment after move 40. And I was like, okay, then let's play rapid. If he doesn't want to think, I will not think and I will play fast. I think this is my best chance, because if he takes his time here, he would understand that the position is drawish and he would find equality. So he plays queen a1, and I play knight g4. He goes queen e1. I just wanted to see that if he finds the best move, he does, and then I go back. He goes queen a1. I bring my queen to f3. And finally, my opponent offers queen trade. I think he could have traded earlier on. Here, for instance, he had queen to e4 move. I mean, it doesn't really matter much, so eventually we traded here. I did think that here g5 move was probably the strongest response. Instead, he played knight d3, king e4, king f4, knight d3 back. And initially I was thinking about going to g5, but then I realized that there is nothing probably there. So I went back to e3. I could have gone immediately. No, so here I didn't want to go to e3 immediately because I wasn't sure about knight e5, knight e5, de, king e4, king f6. Oh, I didn't realize that this is absolutely winning for me after a4, because if he plays knight d6, I take, and pawn endgame is winning. So here we are facing the problem, because I was playing very fast, rapid. I didn't want to calculate knight e5 option. That's why I played knight king e4, but probably king e3 would have been more challenging. I mean, at least I gain a tempo. If he goes back, so we are reaching the same position, but I have extra tempo. Yeah, that would have been nice. Anyways, I went for king e3, knight d7, king d4, king e7. So still we are playing pretty fast. And in this position, probably I should have taken my time, finally think and try to find the best continuation. Nevertheless, I did. And it was kind of a little game, you know. We are playing rapid. I felt like I thought that it would be my best chance. Probably, yeah. But on the other hand, if I played knight d3 positionally, he would have. Actually, this was my initial thought, to play knight d3. Then what I didn't like here, what I was thinking, I saw something, maybe c6 I didn't like. Oh, but after c6 there is knight a7, strong move, king d7 and g4. Apparently it's almost +1. So here I played king e4, king d7, f5, gf, king f5. Yeah, I had been playing all these moves very fast, and only here I think I started, like maybe it was here or something, like I started spending my time, and finally, you know, in this tournament they use this stupid chess clock that it doesn't show that there is already 30 minutes added. First you need to finish the time that you have, then it adds. Actually, once I made a mistake and I lost in Grand Swiss against Demchenko. I thought that I made already move 40, and that's how I missed. Yeah, I would rather prefer that time adds immediately, so no one messes up. Anyways, so we reached to this position. It is completely drawish, and I was trying to put problems here and there, and then I realized that actually here I was thinking that maybe knight d6 works, but not after knight d6. I think knight d6, king e5, knight c4, king e6, knight a3, g4, and knight is on time to catch the pawn. So I played a4. Yeah, after actually my opponent was very confused. He went to arbiter to ask what was happening. Then I guess they explained that there is an increment after move 40. So here I realized that I mean, there is nothing. I don't really have any chance. So maybe trading one pair of knights would be helpful. So we traded, and he went for knight h5, knight f4. You know, I was trying to put as many problems in front of him as possible, but there is nothing really I could do. So here my opponent started to think, and I was like, what's happening? He just goes king b4, and this is simply just draw. Takes a4, knight f4, and push the pawn, and there is nothing. The game is over. But he thinks and thinks and plays king to c4. And I was like, hold on for a moment. I may have some chance after knight f4. I play knight f4, and he plays another bad move, knight to c8. And I didn't immediately go for king e5, but after calculating, I played king e5. And the problem here is that black only has one way to make draw in this position, and he had 4 minutes. He spent all his time and couldn't find a draw. So the problem for him was that if he plays d3, I take knight d3, king d3, and play king to e6, and he cannot stop my pawn from queening. Therefore, he needed to find the only move, pawn to b5. So b5, and I should take, although what happens after a5? Maybe after a5 he has b4, yeah? Yeah, he has b4. That's why I cannot do that. I have to take, king takes b5, king e6, king c6, g5, knight d6, g6, and knight e8. And the problem is that he has d pawn. That's why I cannot win. If he didn't have a pawn, I think this might be winning somehow, because his king is caught and the pawn is far advanced. So maybe something like knight h5 idea would have been winning in an ordinary position, but not here. So instead he went knight d7, which was the final mistake, because after king e6, knight c6, g5, he pushed d3, I took, knight d4, king f6, king knight d2, g6, knight g3, last try. So if I played g7, he has knight h5, but I went for knight f4, knight d4, and king to e5. Here my opponent resigned, and I passed the first round with the victory. I was expecting, to be honest, much easier game, but things turned out completely differently, and I'm lucky that I survived and I won the game. Yeah, big respect to my opponent. He showed a high level game. I mean, he played much higher than his rating. Thank you very much for watching. If you watched this far, please subscribe if you haven't. Take care. See you after tomorrow. Bye bye.